Welcome guys, back to Twisted Dice. We've come with another battle report, hot with the new Tyranids that are absolutely wrecking face in the competitive scene, versus a very different demon list.
That's certainly a statement.
Certainly a statement.
Certainly different.
Certainly different. That's why I have the smile. He's looking
a little bit nervous.
He's looking concerned. So yeah, what mission are we playing?
So this is helping me out a little bit in preparation.
Always
for he's a great guy. When I'm saying horrible things about him latex, I'm losing. I take it all back now in advance. He's helping me out because I'm going to No Retreat 6 in a couple of weeks. Need to practice my list. I've got a lot of strong opinions on the new Demon Codex, but I haven't actually played it yet. So I'm gonna try this out, and we're going to try the No Retreat missions.
Yep.
And they are a specific combination of the Maelstrom and the Eternal War. So the Eternal War is retrieval mission.
That's right.
I believe it's called.
It is, which is just 4 objectives, basically.
Right. Pretty simple.
Score at
so
the
that's
end,
primary. Secondary is Maelstrom, and in the first mission, again, helping me practice from the beginning, always a good place to start.
Always.
That is Deadlock. So that is the one, I believe, where you start off with 6 and then you go down each turn to cap those off, and obviously any objectives which are unattainable just get sacked off. And then I think it's a standard 2 points for each D3 thing.
It's going to be brutal. We'll try not to get too salty tonight. there's always a salt warning. But,
never salty. Come on.
But we'll see what we can do for you guys. Hopefully, if you enjoy the battle report, please do subscribe to the channel. It helps us tons and tons. And hopefully, you're going to enjoy this, guys, because it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you at the armies. So here is Hive Fleet Voro in its full 2,000 point goodness. We've got an interesting list for you tonight. It's going to be a bit different from what I took to the Las Vegas Open, but has the same kind of roots to the list. So lots and lots of models, lots of different units doing all sorts of different funky stuff. And hopefully it'll be a lot of fun for you guys to watch and see how it performs. So what we've gone for is we've got a battalion, not a battalion, a brigade, if I could say it right, of Leviathan. So in that Leviathan detachment, I have 4 Flyrants and a Neurophrope. So the way that they are armed in that detachment is I have 2 with double Devourers, so that's 24 shots for you guys that have not used them. Really immense at shooting, but absolutely do nothing in combat, but absolutely, put down a hail of fire. So tonight we've got a little bit of proxy in here, so this one with Death Spitters will also have double Devourers, just because I didn't realise my bag wasn't quite packed from Vegas still. So amateur hour, guys, but you can have to imagine that that one there has also got 2 sets of Devourers. So both of those, apart from that and having wings, are a basic set and standard as they come. We then have 2 more Flyrants, as we said. So this one here has got 1 single set of Devourers and monstrous rending claws that you can see up in the wings. And that makes him quite good in combat, but also pretty shooty as well. So he's pretty much a good all-round unit. And then we have the Beast himself. We have one that has, so originally he is armed with a lash whip and a bone sword, but we don't use a command point, we get one free, and we can get a relic. So the relic we've gone for is the Reaper of Obliterex, which turns that lash whip bone sword into the Reaper of Obliterex, which is the 2 nasty looking swords that are modelled on the guy, and they mean that he is very good in combat. He still has a single set of Devourers, giving him 12 shots, which is pretty good. He also has adrenal glands, and he has toxin sacs to make him even more killy. So this guy has a potential to do a lot of damage in combat. He is the combat beast of this army. So then we go into the troops choice, and for troops what we have is we have 4 units of 3 rippers. Very good at deep striking in, causing a little bit of nuisance and grabbing those key objectives for the late game. We then have 2 minimum units of 10 termagants, a little bit better potentially at grabbing those objectives in your own deployment zone, but do die very, very quickly. Because they're small units, they're quite good to hide, so not so bad. So that makes up my 6 troops choices in the brigade. Then we go into elites. Now for elites today I have a small unit of 3 Hive Guard with Impaler cannons. I really like the unit. They're not so good in a small unit. You really want to have them in a bigger unit, but just for this game I want to test a few other little bits, so we've just chucked in a small unit for you guys to see what they do. We then have a single lictor. Really poor unit, doesn't do very much, but I do love the model. I love the fluff behind the lictors, and they're always a little nuisance, again just popping around the backfield, causing a bit of grief, and just trying to stay out of line of sight mainly. And then for the last in the elite slot we have the Pyrovore, because everyone loves the Pyrovore, the most hated Tyranid unit, and actually he's not absolutely terrible. He's very, very cheap. He's the cheapest elite slot, and does fill a certain role. He can be quite good at holding that defensive backfield and potentially being a counter blow when the enemy strikes you. So not too bad. We then go into fast attack, and for fast attack I have 3 Mucilid Spores. They are the cheapest, 20 points a pop. They don't give up victory points, and they're quite good just to kind of, again, just be a nuisance, block some deployment, and they're quite good fun to use. Really, really cheap and cheerful. When they go off, they do actually cause a fair bit of grief, so not too bad there. We then go into heavy support, and for heavy support I have a unit of 3 Bivores. They're my old school boys. Love these guys. Generally they're more effective in my standard list, and we'll go through why that is, but still like these guys. Again, they're pretty reasonable pointed, and they can reach out and cause some grief, so I do like the Bivores. We then have the 2 new recruits to this list, something I've not really tried before, but are heavily recommended in the community at the moment and are doing great stuff for the Tyranid army, and that is 2 Morlocks. Now most people are rocking with more than 2. They are extremely cheap. They are a massive troll. Chris is a smart player, and I'm sure he won't fall into the trap. I actually think, if anything, they're a potential handicap to this list. Now I won't go into details now before the game, but as we go through I'll explain why I believe that that's the case. But we'll see. I'll try and use them as smart as I can, and I'll try and show you what they are good at. I love the model, I love the unit. He is a cool dude, but I have a feeling they might well be my Achilles heel in this game. We'll have to wait and see. So we've got 2 of those, and that makes up the whole of my brigade. So loads and loads of different units. Hopefully you'll see them all perform in their own way. So I've gone for this. As I said, this is Leviathan. Now what the Leviathan does is it gives me a 6+ after save. So after damage is done, get a 6+ save, but that only takes into account if you are within 6 of Synapse creature, I believe. So to be honest, I don't really use it for very much more. It's only really for the Flyrants. That's where it becomes really, really good, and then potentially the Morlocks will have that effect on them as well. But mainly, you know, it's for those Flyrants. It makes those Flyrants that little bit more survivable. It's not a bad little one to go for. I tend to go for Kronos on my brigade, but today in this particular format we thought we'd just give Leviathan an outing on the whole lot. Then we have a Outrider detachment, and in that Outrider detachment I have another Flyrant. The Flyrant has got double Devourers, and other than that he's as he is with his wings, so again 24 shots. And then I have 3 more Mucilid Spores. Now these are Meiotic Spores from Forge World. They will be counting today as Mucilid Spores. And he will be my Warlord, and this is a Kronos detachment, and he will have the anti-Psyker Warlord trait, which will be useful hopefully against Chris's Daemons. Very, very effective in Vegas. It caused my opponents a lot of a headache, quite literally, and we'll hope that it does exactly that today. So that's my 2,000 points. The other thing I have, it falls just short of 2,000 points, and what I have then got is I have got a little bit of reinforcement points. Now those reinforcement points will almost certainly be used for the Spore Field stratagem. I want to try that out for the first time tonight for you guys, and hopefully that will be quite a good counter to any alpha strikes that Chris can throw at me. But we'll see how this goes. It's a powerful list. It's not in its most optimum, but you should get an opportunity to see some of the new hotness that is the Tyranids at the moment, and they are doing very, very well in the competitive scene at the moment. So we'll see whether they can perform this evening, and we'll go in and have a look at Chris's Daemons. So I'm going to hand over now to Mr. Fabius to go through his beautiful, beautiful Daemon army. So what you got?
Right, so firstly just quick disclaimer. For me this is a bit of practice ahead of the esteemed No Retreat 6. So for those of you who don't know, it is an amazing event, invite only, and they very, very specific about the armies they let in. Mostly based on aesthetics, conversion work and stuff like that, and if anyone thinks this looks like an alright army, it is just absolutely terrible compared to some of the guys who are going there. So I'm really looking forward to that, but I haven't played for a long time and need a lot of practice. Now the other thing about that event is, in an effort to keep it kind of friendly and cut down on spam, there are some very, very strict list building requirements. So you have to take no more than 2 detachments. You have to take a brigade or a battalion, and you can't have any duplicates of detachments, and you can't have supreme command. So with demon armies, I'm thinking especially Siege, they thrive on the command points. I think some armies need them more than others. Obviously they're useful and all, but I need it here, so obviously I had to hit the brigade. And after that actually there's not a lot of points left. So what you are looking at here is one brigade of about 1,750, 1,800 with reserve. So in HQ it is headed up by the Warlord, the Demon Prince with wings and a sword.
Old Moonface.
Old Moonface. He's one of my favourite models. Actually a lot of conversion gone into that guy.
It's cool.
So he has got the Warlord trait of Demon Spark, which lets you reroll ones to wound on your shooting. And he also has the artifact of the Impossible Rogue, which puts him to a 3-up. So hoping he's going to be a little bit of a tank. And he also lets everything around him reroll ones to hit, which is pretty cool. So apart from him, you've got an HQ 2, I think these are called Flux Masters now.
Believe so.
So I like the value on those guys. They're 150 points. You basically get 2 Screamers thrown in with 8 wounds at 4-up. They've got good movement and they can cast psychic powers, and they're decent in combat. And they're under 8, so you still only play 1 command point to deep strike them in. So we've got 2 of those. That's the HQ. Then going into heavy support, we've got 3 Burning Chariots. Again, I think their value's not that bad, right? They combine a 90-point Exalted Flamer and again 2 Screamers. So they're, you know, probably about 150 of value in their damage output. But again, I haven't played them yet, so we'll see how they work out. Then we've got 3 just Exalted Flamers. They've gone up a little bit in points, but they've also gone up by making more consistent the number of shots they get out from their pink fire, which is coming out Strength 9, Strength 10. So I'm hoping they should be pretty nice and fast moving as well. Then 3 units of 3 Screamers. I think that's where some of the weaknesses in the list. I think they're pretty expensive, 31 points each, but I do need them in there for the brigade. And if they do get into combat, I think they can be pretty tasty. Then, as you will expect, you've got the big blob of pink horrors. I mean, they were always good. It just, you didn't see a lot of them compared to Brimstones before, but with the points adjustment, I still like them. 7 points, 4-up invul, and they can shoot and get better in a blob. And they can still split, which can be a bear to get rid of, so we like that. And then just to round out the rest of the troop requirement, we've got 5 squads of 10 Brimstones. Yeah, they are just chaff now, pure and simple. They need to be there, and who knows, maybe they'll secure me an objective or 2. And that's pretty much it, guys. I've got 12 command points in that list. I know that Ace is expecting me to do, which I am going to do, is deep strike a lot of it in. I think that's where this army will excel. and Nids have got a great set of defence in that, in their rippers and having their small little meiotic spores and things like that. But we need the practice. There's no point being coy about it. He's smiling behind the camera there. He knows it's happening. I know it's happening. Maybe we'll get lucky and catch it by surprise anyway. But I think it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Wish him luck, guys, because the tables may be turning eventually.
This could be the first loss on camera, which obviously hesitant.
It'll burn. It'll burn.
It will hurt.
It'll burn. Let's get stuck in, guys.
Let's get used to it.
Let's go to the deployments. So, end of deployment. The objectives wise, both armies clustering quite close to their objectives. The objectives are the ones with the big skulls with a cross on. So Chris has kept his pretty much down his side, so we've got one close to that other objective. We've got one that is over there, the other side of the ruin, that again is clustered close to his army. I've done the same thing, so I've got one in the middle of the two objectives, the two Maelstrom objectives, and I've got the other one, if I can find it, is over here. So I've gone a little bit further out with this one. This one's by the Void Shield Generator, and the other ones, as we explained in the pre-game, are all designated set positions, which are 6 drops, the 6 Maelstrom spread across the board. So I've got a hell of a lot of my army in reserve, and Chris has countered that by doing similar, so he has got a lot of his army as well. That
needs to be done.
Yeah, I think, you know, he's going to go for it. He's going balls to the wall. That's the tactic of this particular list, so he's going for it. I've tried to counter it with my spore minefield. Ideally, I would like to have a slightly bigger spore minefield. I'd really go for 4 or 5 spore mines, but in this list I kind of ran out of points and had to make some late changes to my list just due to forgetting stuff, which was not so handy. I would have had 4, which would have helped a little bit more space denial, but still they'll do a little bit of a job, and will definitely create me some space potentially. Other than that, I've castled, Chris has castled, and we're going to go into that all-important role. So I was down a long time after Chris had fully deployed. I've got sort of 22 drops to, I think Chris is 18, something like that.
18.
So both heavy drop armies, so it'll be interesting. So we'll go into that all-important role to see who will get the first turn. I think both armies will want it on this case, but we'll see. Chris is a sneaky one, so who knows what plan he might have up his sleeve. But he will get the +1, so we'll go into the all-important role. Right, so we're going to go into the all-important role. Let's see, +1 for Chris. Here we go. 1.
3. How are those new dice working out, mate?
They're not working out so well so far, but we'll see. It's all important will be the C's. No, so ultimately, are you going to choose to go first or second?
I am going to let you go first.
Let me go first. There we go. So I will take that willingly, and we will go into turn 1 for the Tyranids. So after a bit of consideration, Chris has gone back on that, and he thinks he might be better to take that first turn. So he's going to have a go at taking first turn. Is that your final decision, Chris? He's still looking, and he's looking...
Semi-final, final, or real final?
Real final, final.
Yeah, we're going to take... I don't know if it is sensible. This is me more being aggressive. I think if I was sensible, I'd try and let you come forward and thin yourself out a little bit, but...
You're going for
Let's
it.
have some fun.
You're going to take it,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So I'm going to see whether I can seize, because I do want the first turn. I'll put it out there now, guys. So here we go. Let's see whether we can get that seize. We don't get the seize. Right, so the mission objectives for turn 1 for the Demons, as Chris shuffles the pack just to make things awkward like a conjurer. So we have Blood and Guts, which is kill something in the assault phase. Supremacy, which is if you control any 3 objectives. And then we have Secure Objective 2, Secure Objective 3, Secure Objective 6, and Defend Objective 4, which means hold it for 2 consecutive turns, basically. So, and obviously this is the Maelstrom ones, which are nicely scattered across the board. So we'll see, definitely some objectives there that are 100% achievable. So we'll see how Chris gets on as he goes into his movement phase. So after the movement phase, Chris has gone quite aggressive, and he's castled along this side. So every single one, is that all of your guys come in now? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's every single model. All the drops have now come in. So we've got the chariots, we've got the big blob of pink horrors, and the warlord himself with his impossible robes sits pretty up on his tower as he looks down upon this Tyranid army. So he's eyeing up shots on the Hive Guard. He's got some angles from his horrors there. We'll definitely get quite a few shots on them if he decides to pick on them. Old Pyro Pete here at the back will definitely potentially come under fire as well. He's just within range of a few of the guns. So there's definitely going to be some work done here. We'll see what the horrors can do in shooting. But before we get to that, let's go into the psychic phase and see whether these demons can manifest some powers from the warp.
Right, guys, so end of the Tzeentch Demon Psychic phase. It wasn't great, right? What we really needed was the flickering flames to get off the +1 to wound on the shooting attack of these of the horrors. And a lot of the list is built around that to a degree. So started off being clever, going with Gaze of Fate, which is the one which you cast on a 6, and if you're successful then you can re-roll a dice later. So I did that first, got it off, got that kind of bonus dice in the bank. Then moved on to Flickering Flames to try and buff the horrors. Rolled a 1 and a 2. Used the earlier ascertained reroll to try and get something better on that 1. Only needed a 3. I rolled another 1. So Flickering Flames did not come off, and that's going to really dampen the potency of my shooting. And then finally I went for a Boon of Change on the horrors as well, just to try and find another way to ramp up their strength a little bit. It got it off, but managed to get +1 toughness on the group, not the +1 strength we were looking for. And with only 3 psychers in my army, that's actually it. So no smite from Tzeentch, and that's psychic.
Wow, it's big, guys. No smite from Tzeentch. Mad.
So right. First.
So we're going to go in shooting phase now?
Yep.
Let's see what we do.
So I'm going to start off with this guy here, doing the pink fire Tzeentch on the Martic Spore. 3 dice standard now, courtesy of my extra 20 points. So I'm hitting, because I came in and counted as moving, this is a heavy weapon, I'll now be hitting on 4s. Get to reroll 1s because of my Demon Prince. They all hit.
Nice, it's a good start.
It is +1 strength because I am within 6 inches of the Herald, so it's strength 10.
Wow, okay. So your 2s?
Probably 2s to wound.
Yeah.
So they all wound.
Okay.
It is AP -5 and
He's
D3 damage
not
each.
getting a save, and then that is just him dead, so we'll just remove him.
Off he goes.
Off he goes. What's next?
First strike. Woo.
No, not first strike, because you never get a kill point from a spawn mine.
Oh god. Let's hope. So now the final Burning Chariot. He's just in range of those spawn mines. I think that's actually all I can shoot at. So we're going to be doing the blue fire. It's strength user normally, which is strength 5, and then +1 strength because the Herald again makes me strength 6. So we've got 5 hits. And it's going to be 2s to wound them on toughness 3, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 2 to wound spawn mines, and I get to reroll my 1s to wound because of my Demon Prince ability. So that's 5 wounds on the spawn mines at -2 AP.
Yeah, so they are all dead because 1's outside of cover. They only get a 7-up save anyway, so they are all dead. And the main event, what's going on now?
Yeah, so we're going to be putting as many of these horror shots into the Hive Guard as possible. So because they're over a unit of 20, they get 3 shots each now. Measure that we've got 23 in range and can see them. So that's going to be 69 shots. So I've got 20 dice here.
Okay.
I'm hitting on 4s, again re-rolling 1s to hit because of the Demon Prince.
Okay.
And it's going to be 5s to wound after because I'm strength 4 because of the +1 buff, but he's toughness 5.
Yeah.
So doing these 20, 3 times +9, 4s to hit. So that's pretty good.
And we got so far?
So that is 14 hits so far. Next round, re-rolling 1s.
This looks pretty good so far.
Yeah, I'm not unhappy with it. I'm certainly not unhappy with it.
So what are we up to now?
And that is 9, so a further 11 hits plus my original 14 is 25 hits. Number 3, re-rolling 1s. All 1s.
all 1s, of course. This is looking significantly above average.
Misses. No, that's a bit more like it. So that was actually under. That's under average. Actually another 9 plus the. So that's 34 so far, and the last 9. We're running my 1s. 30, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40 on the nose. Right, so we've got 40 hits. We're now 5 to wound, re-rolling 1s to wound because of Demon Spark, Warlord trait. couple of ones there. Another 5, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So far.
Plus, ooh, a lot of ones. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 is it.
12
so
wounds in all.
Let's see, hopefully, some bad save rolls.
Okay, so we're looking at 4-ups. We don't get a +1 because the whole unit is not within cover. So we're looking for first 6, and we've made 3 so far. So first roll, I've got 3 saves so far. Not getting a +1 because of the cover. So 3 go through. So 1 has died. So that's the first volley.
Want to see
and then we'll see. Here we go again. That should give you, yep, so that's just 2 more saved. So another 1 dies, so 2 die all, and 1 takes a wound. So not the whole unit down, but just the 2 wounds left on 1 guy remaining. Right, so end of the shooting phase. We're going to go quickly into the assault phase. There's not too much to do, but we do have some horrors here that are going to attempt a 9-inch charge into the Termagants. If you don't need to see me, you reckon there's a couple I can draw a line of sight from, do you reckon? Or not?
Yeah, you can see me.
Can I see you?
Yeah, you can see my boys up on the
okay, well there's definitely, for me, there's 100%, looks like there's probably 4 or 5 that can't see that are hiding. So we'll do 5. As there's a unit of 10, so we'll look for some 6s here, and we don't get any. So see whether you can get in on that.
Right, so I needed a 9 as base, -2 because there's terrain in the way, but +1 because I've got an instrument. So I'm looking for a 10. No, just a 7.
Okay.
We're happy about that.
Okay, and then we're going to swiftly go over here. Chris is going to try and charge in against against what spore mine? Or are you going to try and go against them all? Because they're all, no they're not, they're all 1 unit.
They're all 1 unit, right, yeah.
Yeah, so you can actually go into that unit.
So in the battle of which is most useless, let's see if we can get some brimstones against spore mines.
So it looks like we're probably looking at, what, about 8-inch maybe there?
Maybe a little less. So you roll a 7.
Might be enough.
I reckon that's good.
Yeah, looks good to me. Looks good to me.
Get him in then.
So as he charges in, we'll now see what happens. We're going to explode the spore mines for you. So 1's a nothing, and then we're just looking for those 6s for the D3. So we get 1 6, and we get 2, so 2 mortal wounds, and then for the D3, that's 3, so 5 in all.
Pop.
Not too bad. We'll take that, and the spore mines go. Okay, so very quickly we have a morale check.
So
they've lost 5, they have a leadership of 7.
So it's 5 plus 5 is 10, so 3 more go.
But importantly, the unit is not dead, so there is still 2 hanging on in there. And that, I believe, is the end of your turn, Chris?
Yeah, and your morale as well for your Hive Guard.
My Hive Guard takes no morale check because he is well within range of Mr. Neuranthrope with a massive, great big web with his Norm Crown anyway, but he's still within range even if he had a short range. So in that turn, you have scored your autos, which is your supremacy, which in supremacy is D3.
So straight up to...
straight up, straight because it's SN. And then we have 1 for secure objective 2, which is in the middle here, and hold by those brimstone horrors, and then secure objective 3, which is right down the ends by a multitude of units, to be fair, over there. So that's held that, so that's 3 points. Chris doesn't secure objective 6, didn't kill anything in the assault phase, and actually no, it was the charge phase, so didn't kill anything in the assault phase, and doesn't defend objective 4. Do you want to get rid of any of those cards?
I do. I will sack objective 6.
Okay, fine. So that's a good little start. So Chris takes a nice little healthy 4-point lead, and he has... No, you didn't get first strike though, did you?
No, I did not.
No first strike, which could be key as we go into Tyranid Turn 1. Okay, so the objectives for the Tyranids, a mixed bag, not the best. So we've got secure objective 1, which is in the enemy's deployment zone. We've got priority orders, so that one you draw an extra 1, and that has to be secured by your warlord, I believe. Just double check it. Yes, it does. I thought so. And secure objective 2, which again is in the enemy's deployment zone. We've got assassinate to kill a character. It's pretty difficult. Chris has bubble wrapped them quite well. We've got ways to get in there, but it's not easy. We've got defend objective 6, which is in my deployment zone, but it does mean holding it for 2 turns. We've got blood and guts, try and kill something in the assault phase. It's doable, but I'm going to need some charges. And we have defend objective 1, which again is in the enemy's deployment zone. So not the best hand, but definitely achievable. We'll probably get rid of one of them, but we'll pile on the pressure. And this army probably will do better late game in this one as I start to kill off Chris's squishy stuff. So we'll see as we go into Tyranids turn 1. So end of the movement phase for the Tyranids. So we've hedged our bets a little bit. So we've got some of the tyrants that have come down here, namely the Warlord Tyrant. He's down here. I want to make sure that his kind of aura is starting to be a bit of a nuisance, and start to close in on that. And we've got the other 2 tyrants. So this is the heavily assault tyrant. He's 9 inches away from that front row of horrors. And then we've got one here with double devourers that's also homing in on those horrors. So we've got some options. Over the other side of the board, we're looking at cleaning up some brimstones. So we've got just 2 remaining there. Unfortunately, I didn't get a run enough to be able to get within 3 inches with the spore mine, but we'll clean them up with the tyrants, and then that tyrant is looking at the brimstone horrors over there on that objective. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. Everything else has kind of moved up. We have no more deep striking really coming in from Chris particularly. I mean, he could summon, but basically that's where it is. The Morlocks have both come in. They've got a couple of targets that they'll be able to do some mortal wounds potentially off, which will roll up in a second. But I'm not sure whether it was purposely, but Chris has deployed pretty smartly. I can't get within 2 inches of too many units with each of them, so I won't be doing too much damage. But we'll roll that up for you now. So this close Morlock here, Chris, what we've got the horrors
and 2 burning chariots.
And we've got 2 burning chariots. So the chariots, so that will be just the 1 mortal wound on the chariot, and then into the horrors. So that will be D3, so just the 1. And then the last unit of chariots, we do again 2 mortal wounds to that. So one mortal wound off one chariot, 2 off the other, and 1 of the horrors potentially splits or dies depending on what Chris wants to do.
Yeah.
And then we nip over to the other side. So we've got just 2 targets. So we've got some brimstone horrors and we've got a chariot. So we'll do the brimstone horrors. So yes, that will be again. That will be D3. So 3 brimstone horrors, and then in on the chariot. And so D3 again, and that would be 2 on the chariot. And that's the Morlocks done for this turn, so we'll see what Chris then does in return for those. And we'll go into the psychic phase now. So, end of the psychic phase for the Tyranids. A little bit of damage done, not particularly amount. We've done a fair few smites. Psychic screamed, but probably the highlight was we managed to get Catalyst off on the Warlord down here, so he now has that juicy 5 up for no pain, which is handy. He also put the Horror on the Demon Prince, meaning he is now -1 ballistic skill and weapon skill, which will help a little bit because Demon Princes are incredibly reliable in both shooting and particularly in combat, which is where he'll be striking soon. So that will help me significantly. So not too bad, not much damage done, but we're now going to the shooting phase when hopefully we can start to pull the trigger and take down some of these guys. Okay, so the Warlord Tyrant now is going to try and see off the heavily damaged chariot. He's already taken damage from the Biovores. So we'll see whether we can do a little bit more work on him. So it's 24 shots because he's got double devourers. So this is the first 12, hitting on 3s. So a few misses there so far. So we've got so 7 so far. Wow, not very good. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's 12 hits. Now looking for 3s. Wow, not so good again. So that is 5 wounds.
Halfway.
Okay, so see where he lives now.
He lives. Takes 3 wounds. 1 wound left.
1 wound left. Okay. Next up, I'm going to shoot into the horrors. I have again another tyrant with double devourers, so he's going to shoot 24 shots into this unit here. First 12, again not doing amazing, so that is 6 so far. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, that makes it easy, guys, so that's straight into the 12. And again, I'm looking for 3s because he got buff from his toughness. Okay, and look, those 2s would have helped, but that is going to be 6, 7, 8, 9 in all. So Chris was just contemplating potentially popping the stratagem to make it a bit more survivable. He's decided not to, so he's now going to take those saves.
And that's when he fluffs the save.
And he has fluffed the saves, to be honest, quite significantly.
So and those 3s would have helped a bit. Yeah. So 7 from there. Split. Yeah. So that's going to be 1.
And then we're going to do some splits. We'll come back to you because the splitting, as always, takes a distance of time. Okay, so a bit more shooting to come. So 2 of the tyrants with the 24 have now done, but we have the 12 shots from the combat one. I'm going to put 6 of these shots into the chariot, and I'll put the other 6 into the horrors. Risky business. Splitting shots is can be a recipe for disaster, but we're going to try and do our best. So first of all, we'll go into the all-important chariot, so 6 shots. And that's a bit better than it's been recently, so it's just 1 miss. And now we're looking for 3s. Bear in mind we only have 1 wound to chew through here, so 3s looking for. And that's not bad as well. So 4 saves, 1 is all we need, Christopher.
Dramatic saves on camera, if I must.
Oh, he's going to do the dramatic saves. Well, he didn't take very much, and he goes down, so we'll take that. And then we have 6 more into the horrors. So again, looking for 3s. Starting to do a little bit better. That's 2 misses this time. And then we're looking for 3s again. And that's all of them. So 4 saves on the horrors. And just the 1 save. Okay, so we just have a little bit of shooting from the termagants. They did advance their assault weapons, so they're hitting on 5s. But you know, every little counts at the moment, so we'll give it a go. So we're looking for 10, and see what we get. Okay, so not bad actually. Starting to get some hotter rolls now. In fact, that was massively above average. So take away the misses, and we'll see whether we can convert some of these. So now we're looking for 4s, again due to Chris's buff to his toughness. Not bad. So that's 4 saves on the horrors from advancing gaunts. We'll take that.
Alright, so he's going to be on the blue horrors, they're going to be 5 up saves. And that's 4.
Good shooting by the gaunts. Successful stuff. Right guys, so we are going to crack our first stratagem within the game. So we're going to take us down to 7. Which we'll find at some point. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to shoot the Biovores again, and we're going to shoot them at the damaged chariot. Still a lot of wounds to get through, but you never know. We're going to go into the heavily damaged one, which is that one there. Yeah. So we're going to go into that and see what we can do. So again, just three shots. Unfortunately, not rerolling 1s, which I normally have from Kronos, which is the way to go with Biovores. But let's see what we get. Okay, that's not too bad. So 1 creates a spore mine. We've got 2 hits, and looking for anything, but ideally we're looking for those 6s. And we don't get any, but we do 2 mortal wounds to it, and we create another spore mine. Okay, so we're going to now go into the charge phase, and the nasty killy tyrant is going to go into the pink horrors. That's the plan. He has got adrenal glands, so I do need an 8 inches. So Chris will get to overwatch me, and we'll quickly roll up, but he'll still get to overwatch anyway. But we'll see.
Oh, kill him on overwatch.
Kill him on overwatch. We won't. Well, he's not going to make it in. I will use a command point, taking me down to 6. I need a 6, but it will be worth it if I can get it. And I do, guys. There you go. Bang on target. Bang on target. So the Tyrant actually took a barrage of shooting to the face and actually dropped him down to 8 wounds, taking 4 wounds as he charges in. So good shooting by the horrors there, making the most of that re-rolling ones, helping out a little bit, but actually doing pretty well. And I saved very, very badly, even with my 6-up additional save on top. But now we're in. We'll see where we can do a little bit of work, but ultimately the big thing here is that we're going to try and stop those horrors from shooting again next turn, which is what we should achieve from this. Right guys, so end of turn, even though quite a lot of damage done, still not achieving any of the maelstroms really. So secure objective 1, no, it is clear now, but not securing that. Secure objective 2, again the brimstones are sitting on it. Assassinate, we didn't get to a character, tried with the Morlocks, but not able to really do enough damage. And then defend objective 6 we are sitting on, but we do need to hold that for another turn. Blood and Guts, we went into assault, but we didn't kill anything in assault. And then defend objective 1 again, we're not on, so there's not a lot we can do about that. So I will get rid of secure objective 2. Yeah, I'm going to take out secure objective 2, which is my Warlord secure mission, so we'll get rid of that. It does mean I won't be able to pick up another card because I haven't secured anything, but hopefully next turn we can start to take some objectives as we go into Daemons turn 2. Okay, so the new objectives taken by the Daemons, or drawn by the Demon player, is secure objective 1, which is just here, the one that I just cleared the brimstones off, but he has screamers really, really close, so he should be able to easily cap that if he wants to. He's got Scour the Skies, which is not a straightforward one, because Tyrants are pretty hard to shift, but he's going to be going after the Tyrants anyway, so it's probably a no-brainer for him, so he just needs to kill something with the fly. Special rule, so easily achievable. That's what he'll be going after. He has Blood and Guts, so he wants to kill something in the assault, so maybe that Demon Prince will try and see whether he can do some damage to the Tyrant that came running in. He is slightly wounded. And defend objective 4 he's not going to get, unlikely, because that's down my side, I think. Yeah. Yes it is, but he could get to it this turn. He's got obviously a lot of troop choices that are swarming around that objective, so it's not unthinkable, but we'll see what happens as we go into the movement phase for Demons. So
I definitely need to get some damage out here, so we've pulled back the big squad of pink horrors is the main thing here, which is going to forego all of their shooting. But it means I can open up the Hive Tyrant, so apart from that I've just kind of shuffled around, made sure the things which are going to do damage are in blob range of my Prince and my Fate Skimmers, we're calling them. Buffing their strength. Then we're just going to go for shots at Hive Tyrants and Morlocks and see what we can take off the board. Also moved up the Screamers from behind these ruins, see if we can get some, should get in charges of those Hive Tyrants. And then the other squad of Screamers at the far side, you know, it's either take an objective point or try and take a win or 2 off the Tyrant. If I've got any hope of doing well in this game, I'm going to have to face him at some point, so I'm thinking the less wounds he has, the better. So kill or be killed there. But it's going to be a really big turn for Psychic and Shooting. I think this will see if I've got a chance or not.
End of the Psychic phase, pretty uneventful. Flicker and Flame, I used the Deepest Shadow to stop Chris from casting it, basically, because he only cast it on 1 dice, which was handy. He failed it, but he wasn't in range of the Warlord to make him do the auto D3 mortal wounds off him. So that's a bit of a shame. Other than that, the horrors failed to do any damage with their smite, with the -1. They're struggling to get that off, but the Boon of Change was cast on them. They have got +1 strength, which is actually not that handy this turn. Chris would have much preferred to have the +1 toughness, so not so good there. But the all-important round now is going to be that key shooting phase. Can he down a Tyrant? He absolutely needs to. So we'll go into the shooting phase now for Demons. Okay, so we're starting off with one of the Exalted Flamers. So this guy here.
Not moved.
And who's he shooting at? This guy here?
A Tyrant.
Okay.
So he's 3 to hit.
Okay.
They all hit.
Nice.
He's now strength 10 to wound. He's strength 10, so I'm going to need 3 to wound, but I need 2 to wound, so I got the Flickering Flames on this guy.
You didn't get Flickering Flames, you failed to get it off. Because that was the one
You're
that
right.
I did.
So I need 3 to wound. I'm re-rolling ones. A wound.
Or wound, tasty.
-5, and these are D3 damage each.
Okay, so 4 up. So So 4 up.
Minus 5.
4 up invuln.
Oh really? More Tyrants.
Oh, but he fails all 3 of them. So that's bad news straight away.
D3.
Actually, wait. Oh, I'm going to actually reroll 1 on my command point. Which I don't get off anyway. And what did you get, Chris?
3, 3, 1, 7.
7. So now I have 7 6-ups. So here's 6 first of all. Don't get it. I'll get 1 through. So it's 5 so far. So that's 6 in all. 6 wounds drops off that first tyrant. Anything else you want to go straight on to, Chris, or you need to contemplate your next move?
Definitely contemplate next move after. 3 shots again.
Right. So this is the second. This second exalted flamer.
2 hits.
2's not the one he wants.
3's to wound.
3s.
Reroll 1s.
Reroll 1s.
2 wounds.
Gets 2 wounds. So again, looking for 4 ups. Need to make some this time. Makes 1. 1 gets through. D3.
3 more wounds.
3 more wounds. So 3. Let's see if we can get some 6s. We get 1, so he loses 2 wounds. 2 more wounds, taking him down to 4 wounds left.
Let's have another go with the next one.
So the next one's going to have a go. So this is the chariot. He's got 4 wounds left, guys.
All hit.
All hit. Well, that's a good start.
3 to wounds.
Oh, that's not what he wants. Just the 1.
Yep.
So again, we need that 4 up, which we don't make. So how many?
No 3.
No 3. It's not enough to kill him. He will have 1 wound left no matter what, but it would be nice to get another 6 in there, which we don't get. Takes him down to 1 wound left. So anything else, or another little think, Chris?
Yeah, another
little think. This is testing him. He's new to realising that these tyrants have got a 4 up invuln, and that's very much changing his outlook a little bit. But we'll have a little think and we'll come back for some more shooting. Okay, so no more damage can be done to this last tyrant, but the tyrant here that was gone into combat, we've got 2 more to go into him, so he's going to do them both. So just the 1 miss, which is really good shooting so far. And then again, looking for 3s.
Rerolling 1s.
Rerolling 1s, it's a good start. That's a cocked dice, so we'll try and do that again. It's very cocked from, yeah, that's very cocked. That's the miss, so 4. 3 was it? Oh,
3.
So 3. So now, let's see if we can get some 4s. 1, so 2 get through. Okay, so 3 wounds, so 3 6-ups. 3 get through, so 3 wounds down. And with that, that's the end of the shooting phase. 2 tyrants still very, very heavily wounded, but still stand. So that's big. So now we'll go into the assault phase. So Prince is going to try and charge into the Morlock. Just don't roll a double 1.
7.
Ooh, saw the 1 there, but he's definitely in. So he should do some serious work on the Morlock there. What's next?
We'll do this.
So the
Chain
other
Skimmer Fate Cast is one of those.
the Herald on the disc thing.
Herald on the disc thing, chariot type looking
he
thing.
is in as well.
Definitely also in.
So the Morlock's looking in grim trouble here.
He's not looking his best, is he?
He's not looking like he's going to enjoy this.
Next chariot's going to do the same.
Wow, going to take 3 chariots into him.
Wow.
He will be in.
Why stop at 3?
He's going to keep going. What's next? We've got another one.
Yeah, we'll have a go with this chariot into the Morlock as well.
Okay.
And that was 7.
7, yeah. He's got fly, so he can fly over the top of his guys and tuck in that little space there, no problem at all. Any others?
Yeah, the final one's just going to do
wow, try and go again.
a courtesy charge against the lone Morlock.
Okay, so he's going to trying to go in here. I'm not even going to roll it. He is. Well, don't roll it. He's definitely in. Could he get in there? Could he get through that horror? Did you just move a
7.
little horror?
Let's put him over here then.
Can you get over there? Has he got enough room to clear those models? We'll just measure it out, guys, and we'll come back. I think he's probably in, but we'll just measure it out. So the horror actually saved the Morlock there. We just measured it out. He can't clear his horrors on the other side. He can't go through his model, so that Morlock will stay unhurt this turn. But this one here looks in dire strait. We'll go into the assault phase. We'll roll a few of them and take some damage, and we'll come back to you as he's probably on his last legs. So in fact we've got a couple more charges. So this
do you want to overwatch?
This set of screamers, yeah. So this screamer is going to go into this one over here.
Yep.
Okay. So when you roll up your distance, first of all.
5's not going to do it.
5 inches is.
I'm going to use my.
I'm
going to use my earlier re-roll.
You are okay. Cool.
Yeah. 8
and that will definitely get it in. Yeah, that will definitely get it in. So we will resolve the Overwatch. We might as well do the other one anyway.
Yeah.
So let's see if we get into there.
11.
And that will definitely get in. That's fine. And you've only declared it against the tyrant, so he just needs to avoid those termagants, which shouldn't be a problem. So we'll just do some Overwatch and we'll come back. Okay, so in the end, after Overwatch, only 2 of the Screamers got in here. All 3 got in here without any damage at all. We're going to start over here with these 2. And
so only 4's the hit.
Go for it.
It's not great. 3 hits, but, you know, average we can't complain. 5's to wound. Nothing.
Nothing, okay. And...
continuing on the charges.
I'm just thinking whether I want to interrupt and slay guys quickly. Yeah, we're gonna do that. It just saves him taking any damage at all. So I'm gonna do 2. I'm now down to only 4 left. So I am hammering through these command points, but we might as well have a go. So we'll do his attacks. So we've got these is with the swords. So hitting on 2s.
Hitting on 3s after degrading, probably.
Yeah, actually you're right. We'll be hitting on 3s now because he is degraded. He is on the first bracket. We'll double check that, but the 1 would have definitely missed anyway, so no issues there. And then we're looking for 3s, and which we get the 2. So you just get your 4-up saves, which you make 1. So this one I should have done them separately because I rolled a 6, didn't I? So
1 to 4, it's the 6.
Go on, you roll it. So it
1
is
to 3 is 6. Yeah, so it's
it
6.
is a 6. Okay, so this is 8 damage. So one's dead, but one's very, very dead. But that does mean that he will now take 1 Screamer hit back. So we'll see what happens. Right, so the Screamer's hitting in. He's just got the 1 guy. Oh, he's got 2 guys. 2 guys left. Sorry.
2 hits.
Not so good. Just 2 hits.
Oh shit! I should be rolling. No, I shouldn't be rolling ones. No wounds.
No wounds at all. Okay. In fact, I did miss my tail attack, so I'll do my tail attack quickly. Hits and doesn't wound, so that's fine. No problem at all there. Okay, so as expected, the chariots hit pretty hard and did kill him, only just, but did take him out. But I did roll a 6 on death rolls, so that meant that everything within 3 inches took D3 mortal wounds, and I rolled a hell of a lot of 3 mortal wounds. So a lot of the units around have taken some serious damage from that Morlock going down, which is great for me, not what Chris needed, because they are now looking very fragile, a lot of his key hard-hitting units. But the Morlock is down. He has taken his first big scalp, and we'll see what happens next. So the end of the assault phase, some more damage dealt over here. I roll pretty poor on my saves, so he's taken half his damage. He's down to 6.
Got a wound in on the Screamer though, first time this turn.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I haven't attacked back over there, have I? So I do need to attack you over there as well. So I'll attack you in a second. Over here, one of the Screamers was brought down. No damage was done to the Tyrant on 1 wound. And then over here, more damage done. So
no damage.
Oh, no damage done at all.
Didn't manage to do a single wound with those Screamers.
Wow. Okay. So not great from the Screamers, apart from the unit over the far side. And obviously you saw what happened with the Morlock. So we'll have some morale checks in a second. But what we'll do is we'll quickly do the combat for the Tyrant over there, and we'll come back after morales. So at the end of that turn, so no Tyrants down, so no Scarran Skies, and didn't score any of the other 2 objectives, but did get Blood and Guts. He scored that in because he killed the Morlock in the assault phase. So I would say a pretty average turn for the Demons. Not as much damage done as Chris needed, would you say, Chris?
No, you're right, and I'll sack secure objective 1. Yeah, it was tough. I did some pretty good work on the shooting, then just needed to get off 1 more wound with one of those Screamers. Would have done a lot of difference, putting him down another bracket or even killing one of those Tyrants, but they just absolutely fluffed. And then conversely, they did amazingly well up this side. Yeah. One squad doing 6 wounds, but all squads on the other end is doing 0. So it was, yeah, very up and down, and the massive thing is I've got a lot of investment in my characters and my things at the back which can't be shot, and then to take 14 mortal wounds between them from that Morlock going down, that's a pretty big blow. Absolutely. But then was the dice.
Those are the dice. So we'll see what happens now as we go into turn 2 for the Tyranids. So no new objectives for the Tyranids. We've still got the same ones, so we still need to defend objective 6, which we should get. We now need to try and get on to defend objective 1, which we can do. Blood and guts, we need to try and kill something in the assault phase. Assassinate, we're after a character, and then there's that secure objective 1 again. So there's some achievable goals there. We can definitely go after some stuff. We should start scoring some maelstrom and start causing some more, or continue the hurt on this demon army as we go into the turn 2 for the Tyranids. Okay, so a pretty quick movement for the Tyranids. Pretty happy and know what I need to do. So the spores continue to kind of move up. We're just going to start to put a bit of pressure on these horrors, just try and clear a bit of this blob. It's sitting pretty on objectives end game, so we need to start to kind of dispatch a few of these. We've caused quite a lot of damage to the characters. We should be able to potentially dispatch another one of the chariots, I'm hoping, this turn, and we should be able to take a few other units, fast units, out of the game as well. I'm looking to take potentially all of the screamers out this turn, which will then take a bit more of the mobility out and start to slow Chris's army down. We're going to continue to work on his deployment zone by taking out brimstone horrors, and we've dropped in some units now into Chris's deployment zone again for late game to make sure we get that line breaker. We want to make sure that we get that tertiary points, so we need to get them. So we're going to now really try and just pile on that pressure. We've not lost very much, and this will be the last turn when we'd be more or less at full strength. Tyrants will certainly drop after this turn, so we need to kind of make it count while we've still got pretty much a full strength army. So we'll see what happens as we go into the psychic phase for Tyranids. So the end of the psychic phase, pretty productive. We've done quite a bit of work through smites, and we managed to get Catalyst off again, which was handy. We didn't manage to horror the Demon Prince. He did deny that, so the Demon Prince is on his full ability. And I did also peril down here on a 6/6 to try and kill the Screamer, which I did do. So we killed 2 of the Screamers, so that's 2 units down, which is handy. We've still got the one that's locked up with this guy, but hopefully we can dispatch him in the assault phase. So not too bad, and now we're going to this shooting phase and see whether we can really start to pile on the pressure. So end of the shooting phase for Tyranids, pretty productive. We're starting to pile on the pressure onto the horrors. Chris is splitting them down left, right and centre. He's sort of halfway through his reinforcement points. So we're getting there slowly but surely, but probably more importantly we have dispatched one of the chariots. So another one of the chariots goes down, which is handy. Just starting.
2, they're all gone now.
Oh, they're all gone now. So we dispatched 2 because the Tyrant did damage on one of the others. So yeah, so both the chariots are now gone, which is handy because that just slows down Chris somewhat. And then we have also dispatched another unit of brimstone horrors as well. So yeah, doing work. It's going pretty nicely. Still, Chris is sitting pretty in the right area of the battlefield, because he has quite a lot of objectives in his area, and he still has a lot of horrors to split down. But we're going to the assault phase and see what more damage we can do. So going into the assault phase, we've surrounded the pink horrors, so the warlord tyrants bounce around the other side. I wanted to try and assault this guy, but didn't have the range quite to get to him or be able to consolidate into him. So we've just wrapped around here. Going to try and just squeeze in the horrors and stop them from moving. That's the plan. We think we can probably do it, was where we are. We'll see what happens. I haven't got the fly keyword, so we should be able to pincer them in. But other than that, that's pretty much it for the assault, so we'll just see what we can do. I really want to try and see off these screamers with my attacky tyrant, but you never know. With a pretty reliable save from the screamers, they could hang on in there. So we'll see what happens as we go into the assault phase. So, end of my turn, I have secured defend objective 6 and secure objective 1. I'm going to get rid of Assassinate, even though he has actually only really just got characters left. They're still quite tough, and he's going to bubble wrap them pretty heavily for the rest of the game, so it might take me another couple of turns, and I want to try and crack through as many objectives as I can. So I'm going to get rid of that and keep Blood and Guts and keep defend objective 1. I'm going to keep that for another turn and see if we can get another 2 from that. But not a bad turn for the Tyranids. We've definitely done some serious damage, but a lot of the tyrants are really damaged. So we'll see what happens now as we go into Demon Turn 3. So the mission objectives for Daemons for turn 3, we've drawn Big Game Hunter and Secure Objective 5. So both the two objective cards are hard to do still, but Big Game Hunter really he's got to do, and that will also secure him Scouring the Skies as well. He's got 1 tyrant with 1 wound and 2 tyrants with 3 wounds, so he should definitely be grabbing them. So in the movement phase, some jinking around, the Screamers come out of combat. It's just going to put some pressure on the Hive Guard. All of the horrors have escaped from combat from the Tyrant and the Morlock. They've just managed to squeeze a kind of chain through and have backed up. Majority of the other guys are just getting ready to try and make sure that they can dispatch 1 Tyrant. Realistically, they should this time take 2 out. But we'll have to wait and see. And then the Demon Prince is potentially going to go in against the Warlord. So we'll go into the Psychic phase now and see what the Demons can come up with. End of the Psychic phase, so 1 Tyrant drops, but not before he did some damage on the way out. So I used the stratagem to allow him to shoot before he died, and he did dispatch the horrors. In fact, he left 1, but that would definitely fail the morale test, taking him down. Other than that, not too much other damage done. Practically, this Tyrant here managed to use his Warlord trait to good use, meaning that when he denied the Demon Prince's psychic power, he then caused 2 mortal wounds on him because of his Warlord trait. So some good work there, taking the Demon Prince down a little bit, and that is the end of the Psychic phase. So we'll go into the shooting phase and see what the Demons can do. See if they can see off another flow when they really need to. Okay, end of the shooting phase, and even after quite an unlucky round of shooting from the Demons, they did manage to eventually dispatch the other Tyrants. They are 2 Tyrants down, and then we're going to go into the combat phase, see if the Demon Prince can start to do some work. So, end of the assault phase, no damage done to the Flyrants, but also no damage done back in return to the Prince, but he did take 3 wounds. 3 wounds or 2 wounds? He took 2 wounds in Overwatch on the way in. So he took 2 wounds from Overwatch on the way in, so he is still hurting quite a bit. And that is it for the Demon's turn. So we'll now go into Tyranid Turn 3. Yeah, so he scores two points for Big Game Hunter and for Scour the Skies. So we've got a brutal looking battlefield as we go into turn 3 for the Tyranids. So the extra missions for the Tyranids advance. We need to move everything out of the deployment zone. It's doable, we were just having a discussion about it, but I don't think I'm going to go with that. I think we'll play the long game, even though I could come back. And we have got Secure Objective 6, which we should definitely get. So definitely some more points, and we should start to rack up those Maelstrom points now. So end of movement phase for Tyranids, and basically what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and come across this table now and start to try and put the pressure on for the primaries. Maelstrom's definitely Chris has got the lead on. I'll start to put it back a little bit now as I start to take the board and continue with the pressure. But I definitely want to try and go for the primary, because in these missions the primary is all important. Take the primary and you basically win the game. I don't see Chris taking the tertiary because of me getting first strike. I think he's going to find that very, very difficult. So what we've done is we've come back from combat here. We're going to shoot the Demon Prince. He's the closest target, as well as potentially put some psychic powers into him as well. We're going to continue to pile the pressure onto the horrors, and then we're going to come across here again to just continue to chip away at them. We need to get those reinforcement points gone so we can start to do some damage. The Morlock now will go in combat. We can bring the Termagants into combat as well. Do some more flame work potentially first, and we need to dispatch this Screamer with a smite or potentially some shooting from the Hive Guard. So we've got a plan. We now have to really put the pressure on. So it'll be a key turn. We need to really kind of start to do some serious damage, and to make sure that Chris doesn't really have enough to react in the next turn. So we're going to the Psychic phase now for the Tyranids. So end of the Psychic phase, so some key things. So I managed to get Catalyst off again, so I feel no pain on my Warlord, which is very, very important, but I didn't manage to get Psychic Scream off on his Demon Prince, which would have been nice, because that potentially could have killed him off. We did a bit more smiting, killed 3 more of the Brimstone Horrors, and we failed to do anything to the Horror, which is a bit of a pain, the Screamer, which is a bit of a pain, that was denied. So we're now going to shooting phase, let's see what happens. So end of shooting, and some more work done to the horrors, just trying to kind of slowly but surely chew through them. Did a little bit of work. We took the Demon Prince down to 1 wound, but he just hung on in there, which is a bit of a killer. Eventually the Bivores took out the Screamer, even though he did take quite a bit of punishment before he went down. So now we'll go into assault phase and we'll see whether we can kind of come in and again just pile on the pressure on those horrors. That's ultimately what we need to get rid of. I think once we get rid of those we'll be alright, because I don't think they will hold up long after that, but that wrap is definitely keeping things safe. So we'll go into the assault phase. So end of the assault phase, so not quite managing to kill off the chariot, even though it did come in heroic intervention. So just 2 wounds left there. We're again doing more damage to the horrors, and they've just lost another 7 in morale. So they're falling apart now, but there's still quite a few points. So there's still quite a lot of pink horrors that can split down. But we're getting in this corner here. We've got Demon Prince on 1 wound. It's going to be tight now. We'll see what happens. We're running out of time, so we'll try and play on as long as we can, because it's quite close as we go into Demon Turn 4.
Putting on all the shooting we can onto that Warlord, and I think, yeah, this will be telling for the way the rest of the game is going to go.
So we pretty much smashed through movement, and we smashed through psychic, because you didn't want to do any psychic phase because you're too concerned about the Warlord doing more damage to you. So it all basically going to come down to the shooting then. Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah, I think we know how this game's going to go. So this is a big one.
Okay, here we
go.
go.
3 hits, rerolling 1s. We don't like these 2s. Bad 2s.
We're liking the 2s. 2s are good.
So 6 hits.
Not bad.
And we're 3s to wound. Again, rerolling 1s.
Not bad. Come on.
Number 2 there. 5 wounds.
That ain't bad. It's pretty good.
He's got 4 up, 5 ups, which we don't like.
So 5 wounds. Here we go. So we only pass 2. So we've got 3, and how much damage are these each?
D3.
These are D3. Do you want to roll out your damage then? We'll see how much we're going to do.
6.
Okay, so 6. It's definitely not going to kill him. It's not even going to do half damage, but let's see what we can save. So needing 5s because of Catalyst. We make 3. No, we make 4. So he only loses 2 wounds. So the Warlord is hanging in there, and that could be telling. So the Warlord Tyrant's got 9 wounds left. He did take the chariot that charged in down to 1 wound. Also the Prince is on 1 wound as well, but they're going to kind of strike him in combat, see what they can do.
Right, so starting with Demon Prince.
Okay.
The 4 sword attacks, 2s and 2s. Rerolling 1s. 2s and 3s, sorry, rerolling 1s. I'm actually not rerolling 1s when we're talking about, that's only for shooting. So 3 wounds at minus a lot of AP. So just
okay, so looking for those magical 4+s, which we get 2. And then
with the sword it's a straight up 3 damage.
Straight up 3 damage? Yeah, I think you're right.
D3. Yeah.
And we'll do 3, let's see how it goes. So make 1 save, so he takes 2 damage.
Yeah, and the Malefic Talons hit. Don't wound.
Don't wound. Okay, so he takes another 2 damage.
To the chariot.
The chariot's going to have a go now. So he is down to 7 wounds now. 7 wounds. So he's still on his top tier at the moment.
Rerolling 1s.
Good thing for that.
Not better.
Oh, converts nicely. Converts nicely.
5's a wound still.
Yep. This is where it's going to be tough.
3 wounds.
That's pretty good going. Pretty good going. Here we go. Well, saves 1.
2 damage each.
Through. 2 damage each. Okay. So 5 ups. 3 go through. So he is down to 3 wounds. So tough stuff there. Oh no, down to 4 wounds. He was 7 before that. So she goes down to 4 wounds. So we'll see what happens as he strikes back. So we're going to put them all on the Warlord. So we're now hitting on 3s. So this is his main attacks. 3 hits, and then we'll do his tail one. So his tail hits as well. Tail doesn't wound. Normal attacks. Only 1 hits. Wow, just the 1.
Hurry up. And once per game, reroll it. He's alright.
Makes it. Hits my hand for luck there. So yeah, so he does survive in there.
Lucky-handed guy. And then we'll do the chariot.
What's the chariot shoot? What's the chariot for?
The other Hive Tyrant.
Oh, okay, we're going into the other Hive Tyrant. Go for it.
So, 4s again. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
And 5s. 1.
Okay, so 4 up. No. How many damage?
Just 2 damage.
2 damage. 6s now. No, it takes 2 damage. There is the first 2. He'll then hit him back. So, looking for 2s now. So we get 3. And we'll do the tail. Tail. Hits. Tail. Doesn't wound. Normal attacks. 2 wounds. 2 wounds. Oh, actually, 1 reroll because monstrous rending claws. No, it still doesn't. So
2 wounds.
2 wounds.
4s. How much damage?
It's D3. So just
1 wound left.
1 wound left. He survives. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So and that's the end of your turn, isn't it?
Horrors attacking the gaunts, I guess.
So we'll do that off camera quickly for you. End of the Demon turn. No objective secured. No more tyrants down, but hanging in there. So we now go into my turn. I've just drawn my objectives, and we've got a good lot of objectives. So Kingslayer, which we should be able to get just on 1 wound, behind enemy lines. Again, we definitely will get that, and Blood and Guts. Hopefully we can kill something in the assault phase. So a bit of a swing on the Maelstrom. It's looking pretty good now. We're now going to try and pile on that pressure for that potential last turn. So we'll see what happens as we go into. In fact, what we'll do, unless there's something particularly poignant, we'll come back at the end of the turn. But I'll try and catch that Warlord kill if I possibly can. So, end of the turn, I did manage to eventually kill off the Kingslayer. I killed him off with Psychic Powers, with Psychic Scream. Sorry I didn't catch it on camera for you guys. And then after that I dispatched with a Smite, the other Chariot, and then shot out the other one as well. We continued to do more work on the Horrors, not much work done to be fair, and we killed a couple of Brimstone Horrors out the back. But that was more or less it, as I said. So I did get behind enemy lines, and I also got Kingslayer for 2 points. So I'm definitely back up and running. In fact, if you have at least 3 units in your enemy's deployment zone, which I have, I've actually got another 2 for that.
There you go.
So yeah, so I'm actually probably running away with a Maelstrom now. So we'll see what happens. We're going to go on to turn 5. So guys, we've just tallied up the Maelstrom points, and going into Daemon's turn, bear in mind that this is deadlock, so you don't score, you don't get any more cards really when you get to this stage. It was actually 10-7 on Maelstrom. 10-7?
9-7.
9-7.
Good enough.
9-7, and that was enough to take the Maelstrom for the Tyranids. Chris was going to find very, very difficult even to draw the primary, and it looked like I was almost certainly going to win the tertiary. So it is a Tyranid victory. Eventually, we've got one over on Chris. It's been a while. He's looking frosty.
I'm expecting to see quite a few more by the time the codexes change up again. So yeah. Get used to it.
But yeah, it's been a good game. I mean, Chris has given it the best shot he possibly could. He always knew it was going to be an uphill battle, and the Tyrants are much more resilient than even he expected them to be with that 4-up invuln. But Demon's given it a good shot. Chris knows what he's doing. He's a smart player, and will definitely live to fight another day. But thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. It helps us tons, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.